for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's always nice to see public participation. Thank you all for coming. First on the agenda probably should be signing the warrants, something I forget sometimes. Have a motion to sign the warrants?
Motion to sign the warrants.
Second.
All in favor? Put your pen in there again. Huh? Just two. I know, where's my stamp?
These are deeds.
So what?
Those are deeds.
Deeds. Okay. This is approve the minutes.
Yes.
It's an abbreviation.
Probably just a quick note to myself.
We need a motion to approve the minutes of last
So
meeting.
moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor? August 9th it was. Under new business, old business we have none, new business, liquor license, East End Enterprises Inc. extension. Do we have someone here? Do you want to hold on that? Want to give a call?
Yes.
That's Frank's. That's their name for their company.
Wanda,
Yes.
Frank, Wanda, whatever.
Does anybody, do you want to call?
I called them last night.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Stephanie,
Maybe they're
you
just-
want to get Frank's number and see if we have, just give them a reminder, because we can do it as long as we're not done with the meeting.
Didn't we decide that they didn't have to show up?
They don't have to do
But
a
this is-
public hearing.
Yes, no, we
Okay.
didn't, sure,
Okay.
we did not, they have to be here. We just, no public hearing.
Okay, good.
Mr.
Okay, Mr. Stockford, thank you for coming.
Chair and Vice Chair, members of the board, my name is David Stockford. I was born at 41 Main Street several decades ago, and my brother Don and I spent our formative years here. I have to begin with thanking you on behalf of our communities for all this town has done for Stockford. But my purpose is to try to provide assistance, and I've had some conversations with Renee. It's not in any way to enhance the significant workload she already has. But what you have is an application being prepared, it's due September 29th. It is funding that comes from, I want to read this because I want to make sure I get it correct, the U.S. Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration, and it is to promote motorized and non-motorized recreational trails. It is administered by the Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, and in the spring they conducted a workshop which was not required, but they encouraged to participate, and I took that opportunity. The proposal including trying to enhance some of the responsibilities the town has demonstrated, I think, with Stockford Park. You have a document, and I won't go through all of them, but you'll see there are 19 items which are their goals. The ones that are highlighted are things that I believe we can address very easily, and I'm confident that would be a competitive proposal. That deals with the security and safety issues with the walkway, and looking at one proposal, and again, everything is open, so we just want people to participate. But a thought that we've been having and talking with others is to create a walking trail around the perimeter of the park, which would then be probably moved in so it's not so close to the shore. That really fits in with their health focus of these activities, and we think, people think, well, who's going to be happy walking in a circle? Well, if you go down there and sit for 15 minutes, you'll see a significant transformation every 15 minutes and you walk around in your view. It's just amazing, simply amazing. And then wildlife, all of that put together. It's just a unique spot, as is the town. Part of that is that we are unique with our, I think it's 93 miles of coastline, most in the state, of which I'm proud. And also the number of trails and organizations in this community that support this type of outdoor recreation. One of the issues for them in the Department of Agricultural and Cultural Services in the Bureau of Public Lands is use. We're not here all the time, but my family, we've never been to Stockton Park without someone coming in to use the restroom or whatever else. Anytime, well, not too late at night. So we know it gets a lot of use, and part of that is trying to look at how do we enhance that. So I'm just going to go through some of the 18. One is that whole issue of existing networks. Our plan would want to talk with all the people on the front street, Water Street, excuse me, looking at beginning a walk, which could be at the Siemens Monument, the historical parts of the town, Lubec. I applaud what you're trying to do with the, I've got the notes, Morning Star, the work that you've already begun, and then getting to Maori for that walk plank, which I understand people believe could use some work as well for safety. So a key for me, some 40 years in public services around people with disabilities. So access is key. And we'll want to work with everyone to look at what we can do to enhance that. And I think it aligns well with what one of your major proposals is getting the walkway on Washington Street. And that's going to be, I think, I know a lot of work to do on it. We just think it's an ideal location. Let me just hit a couple more of those highlights. It is for the restoration of existing trails. One of the things that we would look at very first, and want to make sure that it's educational in nature. Our intent would be have not only exhibits, but with today's technology, that we have information that's disseminated in multiple means, so that whether it's vision, hearing, that the products would have universal access. And I think that's key, and we believe, the people I've been talking with, we will make that a major component for a proposal that Lubec could be a model in looking at how you encourage access. And with all the technology that exists today, people with significant limitations are having very active lives. We think that's very, very important. We think that we can highlight, my reason for being here is hoping that we could have some endorsement that would permit Renee to work with a group of citizens, to develop a proposal, to do the 29th, and that would allow us to communicate with people saying the town has an interest, municipalities are in part key to this, and while private and nonprofits can receive the funds, our preference at this time is for the town continues outstanding leadership with the park. The other thing is the 20%. It's not explicit in these guidance, but I've prepared and participated in millions of dollars of federal grants. I want to put on the table now maintenance of effort that I think it makes it impossible for you to supplement or supplant any of your current commitments. And I also think I know what you, I don't know the amount, but that you invest would be an excellent match for this proposal.
Do you know what amount you're asking for?
Not yet, no. I mean, part of it is I'm trying to look at, well, part of it is contingent about what you're currently investing, it could be used to match. We've been reaching out to people, part of that is the whole issue of volunteers.
So matching kind?
Yes, yeah. And I know you have a full agenda. I'll answer any questions, and we'll be willing to meet with you or bring you updates at your bi-weekly meetings.
Is there something we can need this special town meeting
Yeah. Well, no, this would require, I think, a public hearing,
and not a town meeting?
then a town meeting. But
Okay.
the public would have to have
But
input.
is
on
that
this.
required before September 30th? Because you know,
I'll do whatever you have to do for you.
The park has already, it's shown significant increase in population.
Yes.
I think the sculpture down there has helped. We've cleaned it up. There's also a kind of bandstand showcase that's been built there. So we are looking to increase the numbers of people there. So I think that's already a given.
Well, and that's one of the criteria, is it
Yeah.
be a destination.
Yes,
And
yes.
while we know it gets used, it would be great to expand
Yeah.
what people arrive at and use.
Sure.
Right.
And I think it's used like picnic areas, that kind of thing.
Definitely, yes.
The thing we have to be sensitive to is the people who live around there. And we cannot go on late at night, and
No,
it needs
no,
to
no,
be quiet. So, yeah, these are all factors that we have to look into.
And I think everyone benefits from your guidance relative to
Yes.
that.
So where are we? I think
I don't have a problem with it,
Yeah,
other than
I
the
don't
timing for, if it requires a public hearing and a town meeting, we have very little time to get that done. We're already
When's the deadline?
temporary,
The 29th of September.
September.
we have a special town meeting earmarked for the 14th that hasn't been announced yet, that we're trying to just see whether we could tack that on. We have two things going on that. We'd like to be able to put that on there, so we need to know the grant requirements of whether that would satisfy the public hearing or not.
I'm not sure there is one. I researched though and
Okay,
share that with
we can
Renee. I've
find
gone
that
through
out.
That was not part of the, they want public
Well, we
participation.
would need the town taxpayer to agree
Right.
to spend to put the local funding share.
Completely understand that, yes.
Yeah.
You can't get.
So maybe, so if we could put that on the special town meeting we already have, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Barbara?
And just some motion that will allow her to work with us without adversely impacting our very important
I'll have
work.
to ask Renee that.
All right.
Barbara?
Now, at the special town meeting, or maybe it won't be required there, if people use the bandstand or they want to host something down there, we said that they had to pay something?
Just if they use electric.
Right, but if they do, could that money then be earmarked to be used towards the 20%, is my
Yeah,
question.
I don't see why not. It's a
That's the only question I have.
Well,
good
ours
idea.
still private
Right,
contributions, yes.
But I think also in kind, we probably could get some volunteers to help with that, but I don't know, how do you want to proceed with this?
I think moving it to the town meeting, discuss it, writing up some kind of proposal.
We need to know how much we're asking for
Yes.
and what is the match and
No
all of that,
question.
and then we can
That's all
set
clear.
that at the special town meeting, that's September 14th.
Yes.
At the town, because we're going to be hopefully getting 25 people here to vote on two other things, which is our authorization to go forward for Land for Maine's future land acquisition donation, which we just voted on in Safe Harbor. That they would, and we had shared that with you earlier, probably need a vote from you. But anyway, that, and we have Public Works, piece of equipment we want to put out. And that,
Town permission to
we
do
need
that.
town, because we want the money we get from that sale to go straight back into the Public Works budget, and that's also required by legislative body.
And the maintenance they've done on us, appreciate it. It really is. It's a pleasure to visit it. And I mean, but there's some significant investment, I believe, that needs to be made to meet some safety requirements and also enhance its capacity.
So-
And I'm just going to ask the question. You tell me what you need by the 14th, and we'll.
Well, yes, that's doable,
Yes.
absolutely.
And guidance. One is that I would ask for more.
No, by the
And you could grant that, but
14th,
if there's less, you're going to have to.
a rough draft of how the grant's going to be written and for how much you're going to ask, what's it going to be doing, what you're doing, so we can,
Great.
pretty clear vision of the final product of the grant. I want to make a motion that if that is handed to us, that we put it on a special town meeting, that we discuss it.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Well,
Yes, sounds
you
like a
people are
great
just doing so
idea.
many exciting things, and we're completing a home, and I have 4 grandsons who say they're going to retire here. One who's just beginning his first year teaching this summer, he says, well, I'm going to retire here. I said, well, it's nice to hear, so we'll fix the house up for you.
Oh, thank you.
4 grandchildren?
Yes.
Well,
How close to retirement are they?
None of them.
We need people here.
They will.
I'd like to add to this a little bit. A year ago or more, Julia Brady, does everybody know Julia
Yes,
Brady? She's
yes.
an RN teacher. She does a lot with things like this. And she had approached, I believe it was John at the time, to create a walking trail down by the skate park and the basketball court. So maybe we can redirect that vision to this area and get her on board to help us out.
I think, again, part of that is we'll connect, or make the plan connect with what the resources are in place. I would strongly urge that be the place, because it just amazes me if you sit there and watch the transformation,
Yeah.
that no one's going to be
I
bored.
think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes, I see. Wanda, we skipped over you because we were hoping you'd be here. So now we're back to item 1. Liquor license, East End Enterprises extension. You're on.
Extension. We're hoping to be, if we can get enough staff to provide a beer tent for the pirate invasion.
Oh, okay.
We did it once before when Annabelle's was closed, because the pirates were concerned, if they come, there's no place for them to have a drink, and they'd like to have a place to have a
And
drink.
where is it gonna
That'd
be?
be great.
Right there in the parking lot area?
Yeah, right
Right between-
between us and Northern Tides.
Okay.
We'll rope it off, we'll staff it, we'll check IDs.
Okay.
It'll probably run from 9:30 in the morning till...
Yeah, it worked well. That was like 2 years ago?
It was
So you have to
fine.
sweep them off the ground?
Yeah.
They were a pretty mild bunch, really.
Yeah.
A little scary at first, but they
Yeah, I see that.
calmed down after a couple of months.
Yes, the first assault is.
That's right.
Okay, so I may make a motion that we accept this application for
Second,
the Pirates
yes.
Invasion extension.
Absolutely.
Second, all in favor? Okay,
Done deal.
Thank you.
We gotta sign the original.
we
It's
do
coming
have to
around.
sign it, yeah, here.
Oh, what's this? This entitles you to 1 free... Oh, I'm sorry.
Nice try, Dan.
Yeah.
Not allowed to take any gratuities.
Do you want to come by and get it tomorrow, or do you go make your copy?
Let's make a copy right now.
If it has to-
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow I can send somebody down and I can make it, but somebody can.
You know, today's your day off.
Huh?
Today's your day off, isn't it?
No, not really. Today was my night off.
Oh, your night off. That's good. Oh, geez.
Still
Yeah,
have my
you
day
don't.
job.
You moonlighting.
Yes.
There we Oh, yeah.
There we go.
At least somebody follows the rules. Somebody follows the rules.
So we all went out print.
Let's see, where were we? Well, next on the agenda is adult ed. We have Penny Lasky here to do a presentation on what she would like to do in the coming year for adult ed. Did you get paperwork from you?
I believe you have the paperwork, correct?
Yes.
Do you just want me to read this? Is that,
That's fine for the people that are here, whatever works for you.
I mean, does that work for everyone?
You want to come up here and
None of them are gonna be on TV.
can we get a chair or something? Would you like to sit down?
Yeah, she
I
should
can
be
sit.
able to.
You want a chair or stand?
But-
Okay.
And this is a tentative, we'll see what happens if we move forward. I'm here on behalf of the Lubec Education Program. I'm also here in hopes to keep our program locally based. Last year was a building year for us, and I believe we did a good job at doing this. Our enrollment speaks for itself, which we went from few students to 21 in just last year. The programs that we hope to offer this year are the HiSET, which is formerly known as a GED, the ABE, Adult Basic Education, people who have never been taught how to read or write, that's where they come into play. Tutoring in any area, we have students come from a college math class and say, I can't do this, can you help us? CNA, which is a Certified Nurse Assistant, and I was approached last spring with a CRMA course that they wanted to offer in the fall, which is a Certified Residential Medication Aid. So there's 3 certificate programs, which would be the HiSET, the CNA, and the CRMA. We believe in the IEP model of education. This would be the individualized educational plan. Not all students learn alike, and not all need the same instruction. Yes, if we could pair people up, then we do this. We also work around the student schedules. The seasonal work that a lot of us students do does not allow them to get the education on a certain day and time. We will meet these students late afternoons, evenings, holidays, and weekends. We do not have a set time that they have to arrive and receive their education. We have even provided transportation for those who would have missed the sessions. I believe that our students feel comfortable with our staff and the type of instruction that we provide. I personally do not feel that many of us students will attend a fair with a complete stranger. It takes a lot of courage for an adult to come back to school. They need to feel secure with the employees and the environment. We will show accountability for our program. I will generate a monthly letter to the selectmen and town manager to let them know what we have accomplished. I will also include enrollment, hours spent with students, and what type of courses each individual is taking. If there is anything else that needs to be included in this area, just let me know. We are not an accredited program. When the state changed the requirements for programming, we could not meet these challenges. We are not a large enough entity to fulfill what needed to be done to meet the state's expectations. It seemed that the guidelines are geared for bigger school systems. At the time, we were only receiving a small amount of money from the state. So we decided to ask the taxpayers to support our efforts, and they did. All this means is that we cannot do the testing for the high set. We enroll our students in our program, send them to Axiom for the testing, get the test results, and then get them the instruction they need to pass the test. The students are satisfied with this situation because they realize that they can come back to us for the tutoring that they need. We are also one of the only adult education programs that can offer the CNA course for a price that the students can afford. Most students are under the income bracket where they can obtain help. They apply for scholarship money, and that covers the cost of the program. They are required to pay for the state test, the background check, and we found a used book website that is very good. The books are great, so we recommend that they buy their books there. And this is the certificate program and will be a ticket to work for these people. I hope that this can be offered. I have not spoken with the instructors at this time because I'm not sure where the program is going. I do know that this is one program that Axiom will not be providing for the fall. Our newest certification class will be the CRMA. Once again, I have not applied to the state and have not talked to the instructor. This was offered to us last spring for the fall semester. I cannot pursue this until I know what is taking place with the program. I just want the board to know if we are to keep adult education local, we will be a little behind in program. I usually start advertising the first week or second week of August. It takes time for people to make a commitment. We will work to move forward and make this a successful year. We have many hours invested in this program, and our adult education students are the one who benefits from this. We want to help these individuals to overcome their obstacles in order to have them, for them to have a better quality of life. Education is a stepping stone to this goal. They say it takes a community to raise a child. It also takes a community to help others that are less fortunate. And then on the next page is just a rundown of the enrollment that we had last year and how we built it up. Also where we advertise would be the community bulletin board, the Machias Callis websites, Channel 70, we put flyers in the stores. Again, the accountability, whatever paperwork that needs to be done. And that's what we have. We have the educational piece.
Penny, could I ask you?
Yes.
You mentioned the IEP model of education, which is the same as the special ed PL 94-142. Do you have somebody qualified to teach special education?
Oh, it's not, we don't do special education, I just use that as a model because we do the individualized plan with them.
Yes.
Some people say, why don't you just have a room full of people? But what we prefer to do is, like, I believe the state is going with education, is that these individuals all have different needs.
Yes,
So that's why we
yes.
try to do the IEP
Yeah,
model.
and I understand it, yeah. Now, and you're not an accredited program, so if someone completes whatever you teach them, will they get a proper credit?
Absolutely.
How do they do
100%.
that if you're not an accredited program?
Well, the only piece that affects not being accredited is the high set. And so what they do is they go to either Axiom or Callis, and they'll take the test, they pass the test, and they get
And so
their...
they'll get that credit through
Yes.
Axiom or Callis? Okay.
You knew it at Washington County Vocational
Yes.
School. And that's the only piece that affects, because the other pieces go through the DHHS. There we go.
Yeah. What's an average number of students that you have, let's say, in the past 5 years?
See, that is so hard for me to answer, and I didn't have a chance to get to school. It varies.
Yeah.
It could be we have 10, it could be we have 7, it could be, like last year we had 21. I can tell you that from 2013, 2017, we had 25 individuals in the CNA class. So it does vary year to year how much the enrollment, but I did have a young man approach me 2 days ago wanting to enroll for his high set GED. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you for all the work that you've
Yeah,
done,
thank
Penny, and I appreciate you coming down and clarifying. Wanda?
Oh, I'd just like to say I'm here on Penny's behalf, and I'm on our school board, which we did vote the adult ed out. And I think the piece that the program's always been run status quo, and there weren't checks and balances. And but one thing this town has always supported is our adult ed, and I think Penny and Michelle, I think they have done a good job of running the program. Maybe not the bookkeeping part of it or whatever, but like Penny in years past, I mean, she's involved with the adult ed, she was involved with college classes. They really offered a lot, and I can see that they want to build the program back up. And like with CRMA and CNA, those people, male or female, are going to be assured that they're going to have a job. And, you know, $17,900, I'd like to see that money stay in Lubec. And one thing that I did come up and talk to Renee about is 70% of this would be funded back to the town of Lubec.
If we're accredited, right? You have to be accredited to get the money
I'm
back.
not.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Would we be able to do that? Does it take a year and then you could do that again?
I don't, to be honest with you, we're not a big enough unit to be accredited. If I remember correctly, this happened.
How many
when-
students do you need?
Carol, I can't remember, it was a huge stack of paperwork. It happened probably, it was when Julie O'Brien was on board, so it probably happened, I'm gonna say 5-6 years ago. And there was so much to it that there was no way that a staff of 2 people could anywhere come close to doing what the state required. I know, I do remember one thing was like job shadowing and this and that, and it was just a huge amount. It was geared more for like a Portland school. And I think that's why you saw, or I think that's what happened to the small adult ed programs, was that none of them could meet the requirements that they wanted.
So they got
were huge.
pushed out.
And because probably the towns wouldn't support the small program.
But I believe that Penny was able to get $500 per student.
Per student
Per
to
student
CNA.
to giving them the CNA certification, so there are other ways of, it wasn't, that's just the baseline $17,900, because you were actually getting scholarship funds. And
For
it
the
is
CNA.
now only for Lubec. I believe we voted that the funds went to the Lubec students. But
and-
still, if we did enough marketing, I like the fact that it's geared toward job creation. And
You look in the paper and you can see that that's a job opportunity, both of those. I mean, they can travel with those. And I myself, I wish that the board would consider at least one more year to allow them to, you know, try to do something with this program.
where are you going to hold the instructions?
I talked with Kathy, yes, and we could do it at the LCSC part of the building.
Barbara?
I have a question. You offered the CNA course, you said you had 21 students. How many of them were from Lubec?
For the whole,
You had students, a few, you said, to 21 were in classes here. How
for
many of
last
those-
year,
Yeah, how many students did we have come to Lubec or take a course that were not from Lubec?
just a minute, let me count again.
That's okay.
Eight.
As a taxpayer in Lubec, I highly object to that. And having worked, Penny, in, for the adult education program, because I worked at the school and I was on the school board. And I do know that Julie O'Brien ran it. She kept times of when she had somebody, when they came, if they dropped out. You have no records. I find that absolutely unacceptable as a taxpayer, that we have spent money for 5 years with absolutely no accountability. 8 students got a CNA or some course paid for by the taxpayers of Lubec. I find that a problem. I'm concerned because you don't know if you have a teacher or how long it's going to take to get the state of Maine to approve the teacher that you have. You said that you usually start advertising the second week of August. You haven't lined up your teachers because you don't know if they're going to have the course. So this course may not even take place, but yet we're going to say we're going to have the program here. The other concern that I have, from an accountability standpoint, I don't know whether it's the school board fell down or the town fell down. When I was in the school in the guidance office, and when I was on the school board, I was always under the assumption, and I don't like to use that word, but it came to me that, well, this was a school board responsibility. For somebody to be able to take a paycheck and have no accountability, whether somebody came, how long you spent with them, whether they dropped out, and Julie O'Brien would say that she had students that came and would drop out for their GED. This is offering an awful lot, but I don't see where anything is set up, ready to go. So therefore, we would spend money on more taxpayer dollars to have administrative being paid, but no students. And this is just me personally, because I have a son, and I know that there are other areas here. WCCC offers the CNA, and down in Machias, they offer the CNA also. So people can get...
At a huge price.
Well, we paid for 8 students that, or 6 students that were
Well,
in
actually,
there.
we didn't pay. We did not
The
pay.
council paid it
And
back.
we cannot get a reimbursement. I took the time as a taxpayer to come when Axiom, and I wish you had come, to see what they were offering. The board was all here.
And
They were- Wait a minute. The board was all here, and I thought they put on an excellent presentation. And some of the questions that were asked is if we put in, we thought it was $18,000, would it all be spent here? They said yes. And they would give accounting for just Lubec students. They would come here and do it with them, whatever they needed. I'm not saying you can't put the cart before the horse, but I'm looking backwards, and nobody took care of whether they closed the barn door. The money just went out, and I find that appalling that the taxpayers have had this happen for 5 years.
I have accountability, they're in the files at school.
Well, according to what I've heard at the other meeting, no, there is none. That's what I heard at the school board. That's why they wanted to dump it. Maybe I'm misunderstanding
No,
something.
the accountability piece was that I did not report to the board on a monthly basis, which I didn't know that I had to. That's
Did
not
you
the way,
report to them at all?
no one has ever asked me to.
So you just went and submitted your hours to somebody and got a paycheck and never said, well, this is how many students graduated the GED. And the GED students, when I was there, had the opportunity, if they wanted to graduate with the class that was graduating. So all this was kind of in the clouds, in poof.
But the accountability piece wasn't, that, we don't have files. The accountability piece was, I did not know that this board wanted me to report to them on a monthly or...
This board didn't know that they owned it because, again, it always came under the school board budget. And the town approved the whole budget for the whole town. That's all they did. But what I'm asking you is how can you turn around and go to work every day and not go to the principal or the superintendent and give a report at the end of the year, this is how many students started with the GED and finished and got their GED, how many students that we tutored, how many had CNA, to give some validity to the program that this community has been paying for.
Did they ask for that
No,
information?
nobody has
They
ever
shouldn't have
asked
to
me that.
ask for it. You
Well,
got a
I
paycheck.
disagree with you, Barbara.
No one, if they had asked me, I would have done it. I would have done anything
Okay,
they
can you
had
go
asked.
back and do it? Can you go back and provide it?
Do I have to? No, I don't even work for the school.
Barbara,
I'm sorry.
can we just stop?
Yeah,
a minute?
no, I'm not yelling, I'm
I
just
think
asking.
that, like, when I got here 3 years ago, we had appointed positions, and I'm not gonna say who or what or how, but there was not an organization or set forth that once a month, they would come and they would attend a meeting, be whatever they were attached to, they would come to the meeting, they would have a log, they would report, and then they would get their stipend. Well, I put that into place. And it works really well, because what happens is, if somebody's slipping after a month, then you know about it. Well, how come you didn't go to the clan meeting, or how come you didn't end up at the harbor board, or how come you, for the stipend positions we have, in one stipend position per person. And then Renee can stop right there and say, geez, what happened here? And their literally paycheck is held. They are accountable. And I think that going forward, we could work any stipend, like Penny becomes a stipend position to organize this program at a set fee that we don't have set yet, that the accountability would be there, and it does have to be asked for. So I think she's done this program for many, many years, and if they didn't ask her for it, I'm not sure she had to assume she had to be there. So I'm going to be on her side on this.
I'm not choosing a side, Carol, truthfully, I'm just asking.
No, I know, and it's a good question, but right now, going backwards just isn't going to work, and I'd like to keep it local.
Okay, well, again, when we had Axiom here, I thought Axiom presented something that's absolutely fabulous, and they're accredited. So if a student,
I
you
agree.
can't give them that credit, they have to go down and take the test with Axiom. Do they have to pay Axiom to take that test?
No. They will get half the time, though, because there's a huge transportation cost as well for traveling here and back, which is 28 miles each way.
Ms. Lasky also said that she turns around and they go to their homes, or whatever. So are we paying for their transportation?
I don't know. Do you submit traveling time to go to their homes? I didn't think so. Well, thank you for presenting that, Penny, and any other public, Wanda?
I'd just like to say one more thing and stress it too. Our town every year votes for adult ed. Our town believes in it, and I myself feel that probably the town wants that money to stay here.
Carol, may I say one more thing? When I came here, I taught computers at adult ed. There are a lot of retired people that retire here. I took basket making. I took there's painting, photography. There's nothing like that anymore. And again, I'm just saying what I've observed, because people come in and you say to them, well, you can take this class, or maybe John Rule could teach how to write and things like this. It doesn't happen.
I remember that, but I also think that the one reason why the town took it over was going to be supervised by economic development, because the whole point of adult ed was to educate people so that they could get jobs, and we're here to help people get off welfare and on jobs. So basket weaving just didn't fill into that vision of adult ed.
No, but computers did.
Yes,
Some things,
that
some other
would
classes.
have, yes.
Photography did. Well, I'm just saying, so that there were classes like that.
Well, I think it's apples and oranges. One's extracurricular classes and one's adult ed.
Yeah, and at one time, I agree with you, Barbara. I remember Claudia Moldman taught painting. There were many, many classes that were in adult enrichment, all kinds of things. But I think what Carol's saying is that now our focus has got to be more for the student who dropped out of high school, or somebody who's out there unemployed and maybe homeless, needs to find a route to a job.
And I think a lot of it too, Penny, correct me if I'm wrong, your educators in the enrichment classes are volunteers.
Yes.
Without the volunteers, you don't have
Right.
the class. So maybe it's a call out. to
That's
the
an
community.
area that needs to be opened up again.
And that would be a volunteer
Yeah.
basis.
I don't also, if I could ask, would you repeat again where you advertise? Because I read the community bulletin, or I read the school thing, I don't see it advertised.
I advertised on the community bulletin board. I advertised on the Chi's site, the Callis site, in the stores, and on the local TV.
But you
channel.
won't do that anymore.
I was gonna
because
ask why
Lubec.
Matthias and why
Yeah,
Callis, that's what I'm
not
saying.
anymore.
Because that was in the past. This is now. We're trying to move forward.
No, we don't.
Because when we had adult ed in the past, we could embrace the other communities. That's what I was told. And now things have changed. So that was in the past, and that's why I put it on those websites.
But again, we will not be accredited, I want that clear. Yes, that is
Well,
correct.
I don't know if we're not. We think we'd have to check and see how complicated it would be it's not right now. Stephanie,
I
you
can
know what?
answer a question about the accreditation. It doesn't matter the amount of the students, it matters the quality and education of the instructor. You have to be of a certain level of education and degree status in order to be accredited. And I don't know if anybody's.
You have a degree in this. right?
Pardon me?
You have a degree in
Yes,
adult ed.
I have a master's degree in adult ed.
But there was more to it than that, I can tell you now. But I can't remember because, like I said, it was 5 years ago, 6 years
They
ago.
may have changed they may have changed the,
Yeah, so it was a while back when the packet came out.
So maybe we can revisit that. Thank you, Penny.
Okay, do you know when he'll decide? Because
Soon, probably,
Maybe tonight.
probably an executive session tonight, and we'll have to come out and vote.
okay, all right. I'm sure you'll let me know. Thank you.
We will, thanks, Penny. Banford letter, oh, on a lighter note, we had, thank you. Tara Banford and Barbara Knopf donated a beautiful piece of land there on the S turns in South Lubec Road for forever, for the clammers and the public. So the town of Lubec wishes to express our gratitude for the generous donation of land off the South Lubec Road. This gift will preserve beach access for the public. Some of Lubec's future lies within its past. Our maritime heritage courses through our veins and remains to be a vital part of this community. Together, this gift will help Lubec's economy be promoting tourism and help to enable marine harvesting for generations to come. On behalf of the town of Lubec, thank you. I need a motion to sign the letter.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Carol?
Yes.
Could I just ask one question?
Okay,
Where
Wanda.
is that piece of property to? I can't-
Oh, I think we're gonna have it marked soon, but it's just past. There is a public, there's a public area there with
Sort
a
of
parking
parking
spot.
spot.
It's before- I believe it's before that.
Okay.
Yeah. And across is that large marshland.
The sign was
Yeah,
there.
which is always like, because I always see a deer in there, every time I go past.
No, it doesn't matter, it looks better if it's different pins.
Yeah, but don't sign in Joanne's
Yeah.
place.
Don't sign over Joanne's spot. Quick claim deeds?
These are quick claim deeds to the properties that were won.
Okay, so these are all
the ones that
been
have
paid for.
been paid, yeah.
All right, then, we don't have to.
You have to sign all of it.
So make a motion that we sign the quick claim deeds of all the tax-acquired property we sold and they paid up. I'll stick to that.
Quick.
All
Second?
right.
Second.
Second, all in favor? In this particular document, whatever, like it says here, Carol C. Dennison, make sure you sign it exactly the way it's written for yourself, or it's not legal. Okay, there's middle initials there. Did you pick up these off of our driver's licenses or something? We don't usually have our middle, so whatever. There you go, Dan.
Copy of his.
There you go. Thank you all for bidding on this property. We're very happy. So was Public Works. So are our roads. What? Yes, we have some more going out to bid. It should be in the Floody Tides tomorrow. I mean Friday, sorry.
They're already on our website and posted out in our town office and on Quaddy.
Thank you,
TV,
Wanda.
but they'll be in the Quaddy
Thank you.
Tides this week.
Okay, do we sign that? Next on the agenda is appointments and committees. We are to make a motion to create with the will of the people, a high school ad hoc committee. So we need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Do you have a little stack of appointment papers for me? While we're waiting for the appointment papers, let me announce this. Coastal cleanup is September 16th. Got anything to say about that?
Yes, the week of September 16th, the entire week is coastal cleanup. This
There's
is the
going to be
program that
Trash, yeah.
Ruta Jordan's used to put on. Stephen Hoppin is the contact for this now. You can sign up at the library. He has offered his phone number as well, 733-2421, and he's looking for people to come forward and help gather the trash and things off the
And then-
beaches.
Where do they take
And they
it?
bring it up here to the dumpster at the town office. And
All
that's-
during that week?
Right, and I guess it's like a national week.
Yes.
So it's nationwide, and
Yeah.
again, it's September 16th, the week of.
And if I recall from other years, I think sign up is not that you're assigned some area that could be, that you can sort of pick something local
Yeah.
to your area.
Yeah, I think that's what Rudy used to try to
Yeah.
do, get people to pick up near their house.
Yes, that makes total
Which in my
sense.
case was a big drop-off.
So we have some things we absolutely have to appoint right
Yep,
now.
we've got the revolving loan,
We have to-
administrators.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we do all the employees first? We'll do them in sections. So I might want to,
That's
before we
revolving loan.
sign all these appointment papers, anybody here for the public that has public comment on any particular issue or wants to volunteer for a committee?
We still need one more Board of Appeals.
Oh, really need somebody. That's a very easy committee to sit on. It doesn't meet much. It's only when the planning board says no to something, then it goes to the Board of Appeal, and I don't think they've met on any occasion at all, as far as I know, in the last 3 years, but I believe they are meeting, coming
Denise, you
forward.
interested?
We need one more.
Yes.
Wanda, will you do it?
Oh, wait.
Stephanie, did you say?
Stephanie's good.
No, she's a...
I'll do it.
We also need one more on economic development and one more on recycling.
One more.
We're gonna do
No,
this
we
another
have
night.
you have 12 people on recycling now. Because you have Larry, Kenny and Larry.
Larry, Kenny,
Kenny.
Okay.
But let's,
Denise, me.
David,
You're on
Yes.
recycling. Yes, okay, got it.
we're looking for another person for economic development as
Yes.
well. And we need a motion to, let's not forget Renee. She has to be reappointed as revolving loan deputy administrator. Suzette is revolving loan administrator. Dan Wagner is revolving loan committee. Mike Scrivani is revolving loan committee. Cecil Moores is revolving loan committee. We'll be having a meeting next week. We have to get these all done. William Corey, revolving loan committee, and Peter Boyce, revolving loan committee. Do I have a motion to appoint all those?
Yes, so moved.
Second, all in favor?
Second,
No,
In favor
oh.
of what I'm on.
Well, how about all in favor except you?
okay.
I'm just accepting myself.
All right, so.
I'm always in favor of Dan.
You're not in favor of yourself? Actually, I think you can vote. Wanda, on the school board, can they vote for themselves when they're appointed for something?
But we don't.
You don't though, do you?
Oh, we don't.
Oh, I can actually.
Yeah, you can do this. This is Peter's.
You only need actually 3 in each one.
Board of Appeals.
We don't have anyone who stepped forward to be on the budget committee yet.
That's a
Don't all
fun
line up and Oh,
And
it
if-
doesn't
if-
start
if-
until.
And if you get a little confused, you might have some adult ed class, you can take some extra math.
Dan, are you trying to be comic? This is the one he can't sign, Dan Wagner.
What? You know.
It's actually short and sweet. It lasts about 3 months, and we do pull hairs and discuss a lot.
Short, sweet, or quick and dirty, depends on how you look at it.
Okay, next group.
This is the Board of Appeals. These are staggered appointments. We're going to start this year. Okay, going forward, they're going to be
Appeals?
staggered.
Board of Appeals?
Board of Appeals.
Okay, so this is all 1 year, and then they're going to stagger them. So
So
we got them staggered.
We have, right.
Okay, so Denise Rule is till
1 year.
June 2018. William Court, this is Board of Appeals. William Court, 2019. Jason Evasius, 2019. Wanda Matthews, Wanda Matthews is already on there.
Right.
2020. Very good. Peter Boyce, 2020. All right. We were supposed to have 5, so second,
Second.
motion, second.
Motion. Who motioned? Did you motion?
I guess so.
Talking?
I
Yeah.
suppose so.
She
All in
motioned by
favor?
reading it.
I motioned by reading it. Oh, no, it's fine. I don't know how we got a blue pen.
Carol, could you give us the 5 names again for the Board of Appeals?
William Corey,
Denise Rule.
Denise Rule, Jason Evasius.
Peter Boyce, one of
That's what I
them.
missed.
Construction.
Just
Which we did.
get well up there.
That was
Like the
one.
regular.
No. I do a lot of begging around this time.
We've got three
Begging and bragging.
blanks for emergency management. Currently, it's Carol, Tony, and Dan.